Anaconda is a 1997 creature feature directed by Luis Llosa. A film crew making a documentary about an Amazonian tribe get more than they bargained for when they encounter a giant man-eating snake and a mysterious snake hunter who may be just as dangerous. But before we get into this reticulated redux, I just want to ask that if you end up enjoying this video, then please consider dropping a like and a comment, and maybe even subscribe, as it would really help my channel grow. So thanks. Also, there will be full spoilers ahead, but if that doesn't bother you, then grab your mug of coffee-flavoured popcorn and whip out your ice cube dispenser as we dive into the Anaconda movies. So the movie begins with a text crawl, but I'm not going to read all that, so here's one I made instead. The Anaconda, aka Mahusivas Snekus, they'll eat you and then sick you up. Not because they have an eating disorder or anything. They're just gross. Then we see a boat on a river somewhere in the Amazon rainforest, and on board said boat is a young but still middle-aged looking machete, who is talking to his local pet shop on the radio saying, "Hiya mate, I'd like to return some parrots and monkeys I bought from you last week." "Why, what's wrong with them?" "They're going bananas, that's why." "Have you fed them bananas?" Yeah." "Well, there's your problem. No refunds. Bye." Cheeky bugger. Oh well, I better get back to hammering my door. But then something slams the bottom of his boat, which makes these nails go, "Whee! We're flying!" Before whatever it is smashes through the floor, leaving Machete thinking, "Oh, sod this, I'm off." Then he tries to shoot the cameraman, which is rude, and climbs up to the top of the boat's mast and thinks, "Oh, how the hell am I gonna get out of this situation? Oh, I know, I'll ask me gun for advice." Silly bugger, guns can't give advice. They just shoot you. Then we meet our protagonist, played by J-Lo, but she looks more high than low, so I'm going to call her Mary J. N. Then she hears a knock at the door, and hey up, it's that fella from Pulp Fiction. John Travolta? Nope. Samuel L. Jackson? Who? Smule? No. Bruce Willis? No. Ving Rhames? No. Uma Thurman? No, it's Eric Stoltz. Who? You know, Drugman. Oh, of course. Why didn't you say so? Anyway, Drugman is an expert on Amazonian tribes, and he's organised a boat trip deep into the jungle so they can find and make a documentary about one of the local tribes there.
You're a mess. What happened to you?
Oh yeah, on the way here I slipped on a shit and fell knee first into some grease.
Barely escaped with my life.
Sometime later and they're getting ready to set off on their adventure. And we get to meet the rest of the crew, which includes cameraman, Ice Lolly, the whingy British narrator, Basil Toff. We've also got Wowan Wilson, and his girlfriend Shed, who is actually a younger Sheriff Milf from Eight-Legged Freaks. And let's not forget the boat driver, Mr. Trustworthy, who says,
"Chefe, ready for Rio Negro."
You heard him, folks. Gibberish. And off they go on their way down the river, with Basil Toff narrating the intro to their documentary saying, "Contrary to popular belief, most rivers are rather wet." Okay, cut. Basil, can we do that again, please? And, less shit this time.
Is it just me, or does the jungle make you really horny?
No, Wowan, I think you're right. Say, how's the weather forecast for today looking? Nothing but clear skies and sunshine, apparently. Then they come across someone stranded by the riverside shouting for help, so they get close enough for him to jump on board.
Are you okay?
My propeller!
How is that an answer to "Are you okay"? What's your name, fella? Please, call me John Bonvoitie, master of the upside-down smile. Anyway, turns out he's quite the character, and has a thing or two to teach everyone about life on the river.
Fish! River style!
As opposed to what? Fish tree style? What, have you never heard of a branch haddock before? So as he's dicing up his catch for lunch, Basil wonders how he's so good at catching fish if he failed his fish catching exam.
Fail? Who says I fail? I didn't fail.
Did you fail? Yes, I fail. Drugman then tells him about the tribe they're looking for, and John Bonvoitie says he's seen them, and will take the crew to them as thanks for saving his life. Well, that's great. Cheers to that then. Let's have ourselves a nice whiskey or 5.
5 whiskeys? That's breakfast on the river.
5 whiskies for breakfast. I drink more than that in me sleep. Later that day, and Basil Toff is busy whacking off golf balls with his golf club, with bag of ice like, "Will you pack it in, mate? I can't hear my music over you playing with your balls." Also, they're now close to the area where John Bonvoitie said he saw the tribe, and he tells everyone that according to legend, the tribe lives entirely off Doritos, and even grow them on bushes.
Not to my knowledge.
Cheeky shit calling me out. I'm gonna ruin your documentary for that.
A Shirashama idol.
I know what I know. You can accept it or reject it. Leave me at the next village.
Cut. John, can you please not get in the way?
Sure thing. I promise I won't do it again.
Okay, take 2.
A Shirashama idol.
I know what I know.
That evening the boat pulls up to the shore and Wowan and Shed are like, just popping into the jungle for a quickie, back in a bit. But as soon as they start to get frisky...
Wait, shh. Do you hear that?
No, not that. Hang on a sec, that's the pig noise from Virus! Huh, I guess it's now the pig noise from Anaconda. Thankfully, John turns up to save them from their attacker, and he drags the dead boar back to the boat where Drugman says, right, from now on, if anyone wants to go for a quickie, then John has to stand watch.
That's a smart idea.
The next day, and as they're floating along, the boat gets stuck on something, so Drugman volunteers to dive down and cut it free.
Maybe better I do it. This river can kill you in 1,000 ways.
995 of those ways being drowning.
Well, I've never drowned before, so I think I'll be fine, thanks. So, in he goes, but as he's sorting out the jammed propeller, he suddenly starts panicking and resurfaces. So, Icepack and Wowan jump in to save him, and when they get him out of the water, they find a big horrible wasp in his mouth.
Deadly. Poisonous.
Wasps are venomous, not poisonous, dumbass. But still, oh no! So John says,
Don't mind me, I'm just gonna gently stab him in the neck.
what?
Don't worry, it's so he can breathe through this pen like in Saw 5.
Saw 5?
Oh, it's a movie which won't be out for another 9 years.
Anyway, Drugman is out for the count, and they need to get him to a hospital as soon as possible. So John suggests taking a shortcut, but Ice Latte doesn't trust him. What, you mean you don't trust that face? So they follow John's shortcut, but soon find themselves face to face with a big wooden blockade. Not to worry though, John has a solution.
Hey, is that real dynamite?
No, Wowan, I just carry about fake sticks of dynamite for the hell of it. Stupid question.
MJ protests though, but Basil is like,
Oh, for God's sake, blow the bloody thing.
nah, I'm nowhere near drunk enough to do that. So John and Wowan go and set the dynamite. Then once it's set, they get back on the boat and boom! The blockade goes kablamo. Take that, you stationary wooden bastard! Unfortunately though, the explosion knocks all but one of their fuel barrels into the water. So if they can't find more fuel somewhere, it looks like they're up shit creek without a paddle. More like up Anaconda Creek without a fuel. Ken? So they continue down the shortcut until they come across a seemingly abandoned boat by the side of the river. John suggests checking it out as it might have some fuel they can use. So he, Mr. Trustworthy and Ice Pop make their way over to it, with the latter filming everything, but at the same time regretting that he didn't bring his bigger camera. On board the boat, John finds a newspaper clipping of him, Machete, and Mr. Trustworthy. Something tells me John Bonvoitie isn't being honest with everyone. Which is immediately confirmed as John finds his old stash of illegal poaching trophies and the like. So a glass of Coke with ice helps him back to the boat with it for some reason, and John says,
That's it, let's go! Hey, I'm coming! I'm coming!
just let me dismount with unparalleled grace. And if being soggy wasn't bad enough, he then gets attacked by a giant anaconda, which wraps him up tighter than skinny jeans on a rhino. Ha! You call that a squeeze? I've juiced lemons with more squeeze than this. Alright then, how about a neck break to go along with it? Yep, that'll do it. The others get back to the boat and everyone's like, where's Mr. Trustworthy at?
I don't know, maybe he's gone to the shop or probably dead. What do I look like, a psychic?
Bugger. Now who's gonna drive the boat really badly? Hey! Roll your old curtains at me again, mate, and it'll be curtains for you.
It's not curtains, you silly sausage, it's a snakeskin. Probably the one that just ate Mr. Trustworthy, which I wasn't there to witness.
Snakes don't eat people.
Oh, they don't?
You just stroked your face. How does that prove they eat people? Anyway, they decide to wait there till morning, just in case Mr. Trustworthy is alive. Which he is not. And MJ asks John how she should decorate her Christmas tree this year. Well, baubles are a must. How about some lights?
That's a good idea. Lights are a good idea.
And maybe some tinsel?
No! Fuck the tinsel! It's tacky! And shit!
That evening, and John tries to convince Wowan to help him capture a giant anaconda, as it would be worth...
$1 million.
Really? That much?
Wow.
The next morning, and there's still no sign of Mr. Trustworthy because he's still dead. So they continue down the river until this lil monkey starts making fun of John's scratty ponytail. So he introduces it to the business end of his rifle. Does that mean the pleasure end is the butt? Ah, very clever, Ken, but no. No, it does not. Anyway, now they have some bait to use, but MJ and Block of Ice are like, we are not trying to capture a giant snake! This is madness!
Madness. This is
Anaconda!
Unfortunately, Wowan wants to go along with John's insane plan though, so Icebreaker says,
I'm about to throw both of y'all son of bitches in the river myself.
oh my god! You just murdered that tin!
Yeah, I did, and I'm in charge now, so deal with it.
That evening and everyone is sat quiet, as John Bonvoitie fishes for the 40-foot fiend. And I mean that it's 40 foot long, not that it's got 40 feet. Although, I would definitely pay to see that. Centipede Anaconda! Terrible effort, Ken. Although your heart was in the right place, so I'll let him off. Anyway, Ice maybe is considering stabbing John while his back is turned because the damage multiplier will be higher. But before he can do that, the fishing line catches something.
Nobody move.
Okay, I'll try not to. Oh, I'm sorry, you failed, John! Oh my god, it's a Mahoosiv-ass Snekus! Foolishly, Melted Ice thinks now is a good time to attack him, but he gets swiped by the snake's tail with a fall very reminiscent of me trying to get back in bed after going for a middle-of-the-night piss. Then the fishing line snaps and John says, "No more!" So, of course, MJ runs away with the snake smashing through the window like, "Aye-ya!" And I've got to say, the animatronic snake is amazing. Although I'm pretty sure that snakes don't scream. Then Shed gets knocked into the water, so Wowan jumps in to save her. But oh no, the snake has gone back in too! And just as he's about to get out, it grabs him by the face, wraps him up and takes him into the depths, leaving everyone rather shaken to say the least. Then John orders Basil to take his gear inside, but he's like,
Not your bloody poodle.
Oh, is that so?
Bloody poodle.
Then we see the snake still swimming around and, hey, I'm inside a snake.
Wow.
Later that evening and the others come up with a plan to overthrow John, with MJ pretending to flirt with him so he lets his guard down.
Been a long time since I had a woman.
But then he sees Ice Latte sneaking up behind him with a stabber.
Ah! Think I'm stupid?
Yes.
I'm not stupid!
You were saying? Then Basil gives us the best line in the movie.
Asshole in one.
And then if you can believe it, MJ convinces the guys to just tie him up instead of killing him, which is a terrible idea. The next morning and MJ confronts John with the newspaper clipping from Machete's boat.
This was all one big setup, huh?
Aye, it was like, and to be honest, I can't believe that they didn't realise immediately that this guy was up to no good. Well, at least they can now focus on getting out of there. So Basil teaches Ice Block how to drive the boat and says,
Take us back to crisp sheets and hot showers.
The playoffs and a six-pack.
a Columbo marathon and a wank. Not at the same time. So they continue down the river but get distracted by this lovely waterfall and end up getting the boat stuck. Looks like they're going to have to tie a winch to something and pull themselves loose. And while they're all tying the ropes, Shed decides she's going to give John a good stabbing. But she hesitates and he ends up trapping her in his legs and choking her to death. And bloody hell, imagine if that face was the last thing you ever saw. God! So while John cuts himself loose, the others notice something big underwater swimming towards them. So they swim as fast as they can back to the boat, but unfortunately for Basil, the snake ends up chasing him up these rocks leading to the waterfall. And oh no! John's got free and has a proper scuffle with Ice Machine, and ends up stabbing him in the leg. Poor Basil ain't doing well either, as the snake finds him hiding behind the waterfall. So he jumps out and says, "Ah! This was a stupid idea! Somebody please catch me! No, not you, damn it!" Then the tree topples over onto the boat, making the others fall in. Then while MJ is helping Ice Tray back onto the boat, he gets wrapped up by the snake! Luckily it gets distracted by Shed's corpse though, which gives MJ time to pick up the nearby rifle and shoot it in the head like, "Take that, you serpentine shit!" Also, she managed to shoot a bolt-action rifle 3 times without ejecting the shell casing. Impressive. John ain't happy that she's killed his prize though, and he's just about to shoot cold as ice when BAM! He's stabbed with some trank darts by Drugman. Yay! Before Nice and Icy elbows him in the face and he falls into the water. Unfortunately, the dart came out of his back though, so he'll be back soon, I reckon. Anyway, they help Drugman back to bed because he's lazy as fuck. And thankfully, the tree falling on the boat has dislodged it from the shore so they can continue their way out of this place. They soon come across an old abandoned factory and stop to see if there's any fuel they can use. But inside they find a really big snake skin, which isn't a good sign. When suddenly...
Welcome!
Did he just manage to knock out 2 people with 1 gun butt? Impressive. So our heroes wake up to find themselves tied together. Oh, and here's some hepatitis for breakfast, which ends up luring in an even bigger anaconda. And I tell you, the visual effects are still pretty damn impressive considering this came out nearly 30 years ago. Anyway, as soon as the mega snake wraps them up, John springs his trap and it gets caught in a big net. But the snake's thrashing pulls out the pipe supporting the net, and it looks at John like, "Oh, nobody traps me in a net and gets away with it."
Would it help if I apologised?
Yeah, I think it would.
Well, I ain't gonna, you scaly shit. I'm out of here.
But the snake is like, "You ain't going anywhere, mate." Then the ladder falls over and John tries to escape again while the snake untangles itself from it. But Ice Cream pulls the net up to block his way.
Ah, damn this net which I could simply walk around but refuse to because I'm stubborn.
Argh! Then the snake wraps around him again and he ain't getting away this time, as it opens its mouth wider than a prostitute's legs before swallowing him whole. Anyway, the others manage to get free and try to make a run for it, but the snake purposefully knocks over thin ice with its tail, which is as stupid as it is genius. But instead of going for him, it instead follows MJ, before we get a moment so memorably ridiculous that it's actually brilliant. The snake breaks through the wall and regurgitates John Bon Voight right in front of MJ, who then gives her a wink before dying. So the pursuit continues and MJ is forced to climb up the factory's chimney. Icepick manages to slow it down with a pickaxe through the tail though, and then tips over some oil barrels which he's gonna light once MJ is out, which will blow up the snake. So she gets to the top of the chimney and then realises the drop is a bit higher than she expected. So she slides down this rope, but the building is gonna explode any second.
I can't, it's too high!
Just jump! I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3!
And she lets go just in time before, boom, the chimney goes kablamo. But oh no, it looks like they've merely triggered the snake's second phase. A somewhat short-lived second phase though, as it then seemingly dies from its burns.
We should get the fuel so we can get the hell out of here.
That sounds like a solid plan, and I tell you, I'll be happy if I never see another snake again. Surprise, motherfuckers! You fools! The only thing that can kill me is an axe to the head! Oh, I shouldn't have told you my weakness! Oh. And so the day is saved. Our heroes get back to the boat and Drugman says, "So, did I miss anything while I was out?" Everything. You missed everything. And as they make their way home, they even see the tribe they were looking for, who were like, "Hiya, you lot want to buy any Doritos?" End of movie. And there we have it, folks. Anaconda is, well, quite simply, I think it's pretty much creature feature perfection. The cast is great, the effects are great, the set pieces are great, and best of all is John Voight's performance, which is as brilliant as it is bizarre. This is up there with Lake Placid and Deep Blue Sea as the best killer animal movies of the 90s. Bloody marvellous. So, Anacondas, Hunt for the Blood Orchid is a 2004 creature feature directed by Dwight H. Little. A scientific expedition sets out to Borneo to find a rare flower with life-extending properties, but standing between them and their prize is a nest of giant man-eating snakes. Hold on a moment, What? This movie is set in Borneo, correct? Yes, what's wrong with that? Oh, nothing. Except that anacondas are only found in South America, which is on the other side of the world. Oh, yeah. Oh, well, I'm sure the movie will explain it in time, Ken. Surely it will. Surely it will. So the movie begins with a local tribe hunting a tiger in the jungles of Borneo, while making very convincing animal calls to each other so they can communicate while blending into their environment. But suddenly the tiger jumps out from behind the bushes and right over this fella's head shouting, "Get out of the way! There's a massive snake chasing me!" But the guy's like, "Oh tiger, you silly sausage, there's nothing chasing you!" Ah! So he runs for his life with the snake close behind him. Then it grabs him and he's like, "Oh great, it's got me. Oh, and now it's dropped me on my chest. Wonderful. Oh, and now I've fallen off a waterfall. Just what I needed. Oh, brilliant, now I'm dying like the girl at the beginning of Jaws. Oh, what a terrible start to my week this is." Then we cut to New York City, where, as usual, business bastards are talking bastard business.
I'm sorry, Gordon, but the adventure is over.
You're wrong. The Indiana Jones franchise can't end with Dial of Destiny. It just can't. Anyway, back to business.
I don't suppose anyone here is familiar with the Hayflick limit?
Duh! It's the limit of Hayflick, obviously. So this fella, who I'm going to call Coronation Street, goes on to say there's an extremely rare flower in the jungles of Borneo which has the power to
make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus.
That'd be bigger than Viagra.
Are we talking about a pharmaceutical equivalent to the Fountain of Youth?
No, it turns you into a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus. Damn it, Fred, did you not hear a single word he just said? Fred agrees the power flower is worth searching for, so Morris Peanut and Coronation Street head off to Borneo, where the weather forecast is clouded with a chance of being wet as fuck. And they meet up with Gale, who I'm going to call Quail, because it sounds better.
What's wrong with this picture?
Well, the body looks a bit weird. Their legs are all over the place, and less said about the head the better, but what's your point? No, there isn't a point. I'm just not a very good artist. Then another member of the team turns up called Sam, but But let's just throw a P in there and call her Spam, shall we? So Spam tells the team that their boat ride has been cancelled because it's wetter than a sea lion's arse at the moment. But she also says,
there's a local captain named Jinsoon. I'm told he'll take anyone upriver for the right price.
God damn, I don't know what it is about that accent on a lady, but it drives me wild, it does. So they go to this bar and meet a fella who they think is Jinsoon and offer him 25,000 to take him up the river. 25,000 what, though? Staples? Crayons? Fizzy cola bottles, maybe? Christ, I'd do it for 25,000 cola bottles. You would never manage to eat 25,000 cola bottles. Well, that's where you're wrong. If I eat 70 cola bottles a day, then I'll have eaten 25,000 in about just under 12 months' time. And what would you have achieved by doing this? I don't know. Diabetes? Anyway, this guy, who I'm going to call Terry, no relation to the chocolate orange, isn't really the captain, so he takes them to him. And the captain turns out to be Johnny Messner. And if you're thinking, who the hell's Johnny Messner? It's him. He's Johnny Messner. I just bloody told you. Also, the character's name is Johnson, not Jinsoon, but I'm just going to call him Johnny, because it makes me think of condoms. So Johnny says the price is now 50,000, and Quail says,
50 grand, are you high?
No. But they pay it and get ready to depart. Then they see Johnny's boat and they're like,
what is that? What the fuck is that?
And Johnny says,
yeah, she may be ugly, but she puts out.
Dude, if you're gonna tell her your mum joke, you have to add like your mum at the end, otherwise it won't make any sense. Oh, and there's a couple more team members who arrive a little late, namely Toucan Badman and Sex Pest. One wears a hat and the other one doesn't take no for an answer. And off they go on their soggy trip down the river toward the Power Flower. Let's hope they don't run into any giant man-eating snakes along the way. Spoilers, they do. Also, I couldn't help but notice the boat is called Bloody Mary. I had a Bloody Mary once. Didn't much care for it though. Too much blood, not enough Mary for my liking. So the team discussed the most optimal route to the Power Flower, and Toucan Badman plots it on his laptop because he's good with computers and that, eh? Then he says,
I'm a bad man.
Why, what'd you do? I reckon he looked a gift horse in the mouth. Meanwhile, Quail is having a look around and finds the most ingenious toilet known to man. But I tell you, that is one toilet you don't want to fall into. Not that you'd want to fall into a normal toilet, which I actually did when I was younger. It was both horribly unpleasant and downright hilarious at the same time. Anyway, Quail finds Johnny's pet monkey being cute as a button, but gets freaked out because she's never seen a live animal before. I'm going to call the little fella Banana Bill. Later that day, both Quail and Morris Walnut are struggling to get reception on their sat phones. So Johnny's first mate Terry says,
try my phone. Works just as good, but it's free.
Oh, cheers, mate. Hang on a minute. This is a wood carving. I've been had! Elsewhere on the boat, and Sex Pest is living up to his namesake and says, so, Spam, how about a little... No. Oh, go on. No. Fuck off. And that's the end of that. Later that evening, and while the group are having dinner, Banana Bill tries to pilfer some fruit, but Johnny catches him in the act and says, yeah, you get out of there, you cheeky little monkey cunt. So Banana Bill decides to leave the boat and find some wild fruit. And oh no! Now the boat's leaving! Hurry, Bill, or you'll be left behind! Oh! Now he's being chased by a mega snake! Oh, this is terrible! Then we hear Bill scream and we're meant to assume that he got eaten, but don't worry, he didn't. The next day, Quail is once again having trouble with her phone reception.
Can you hear me now?
Aye, I can hear you.
How about now?
Aye, I can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I just said yes, I can hear you. What are you, bloody deaf? Then she falls off the boat like a drunken sailor. Everyone has a good laugh at her, but just as Johnny's about to help her, she's attacked by a crocodile. So Johnny dives into the water and wrestles the croc into submission. Afterwards, he gets back on the boat and says, don't worry, folks, it's just unconscious. Me and Larry, that's the croc's name, do this on a weekly basis for the tourists. Though, he tends to take it too far sometimes because he's a bit of a show-off. Then as the boat is floating away, Larry shouts, see you next week, Johnny lad! And off he goes. So everyone's having a good old chin wag as Quail dries off, but suddenly Banana Bill falls from the sky saying, oh God, I went to get some fruit, but the boat was leaving me without me, and then I got chased by a massive snake. Oh, I was so scared, Johnny, I was so scared! That evening, Johnny tells Coronation Street that the rising water level is making the quickest route too risky. But Corey wants to risk it for a biscuit and says,
do you have any idea what this flower means?
Imagine a 5-foot boner that lasts for hours.
Now that is a big boner.
But Johnny says,
wow, that does sound great, Jack. But it's going to cost you an extra 50,000.
Bloody hell, man. It's going to be hard to find 50,000 bags of Cheese XL crisps, but you've got a deal. The next day, Johnny is woken up when some debris in the water gets the boat's engine clogged up. And the timing couldn't be worse, as they're approaching a split in the river labelled safe/really fucking dangerous. And they're drifting towards the latter. And before long, they're going over the waterfall whether they like it or not.
Hold on to your butts.
Friends through eternity, loyalty, honesty will stay together through thick or thin.
Thankfully, everyone survives the accident and makes it to shore. And as you can imagine, everyone's pretty miffed about their dire situation. But Coronation Street is insistent that they continue towards the flower, as he really, really wants that 5-foot boner. So Johnny says his mate Pisshead Pete should be in the area, so hopefully he can give them a lift if they cut through the jungle. Alright Pete, it's rubber Johnny! I'm afraid we're in a bit of a pickle. A giant pickle! And we need a lift downriver. Help us out, will you? Well, I will, if you buy us 4 bottles of Scrumpy, and a bag of, what would you call them little potato things again? What? Chips? Aye, I had a big bag of chips and all. Ooh, you drive a hard bargain, pal, but you've got a deal. Span then says,
Your friend, is he reliable?
Nah man, he's off his tits 24/7, but he's the best chance we've got.
Fuck!
Johnny also tells the gang that while they're in the jungle, no one strays from the group, because
this jungle is all green all the time and you will get lost.
So off they go into the green jungle, thinking,
Ah! Something green! Ah! Something not green! Ah!
After a bit of first-rate jungle trekking, they end up in some marshland, which has Johnny on edge. Banana Bill then spots an absolutely mahoosive snake below the surface of the water and tries to warn the group, but they don't speak monkey, so it falls on deaf ears. Then all of a sudden, Sex Pest gets pulled under the water, but no one sees it happen, and they're like, where the hell did he go? Then he emerges from the water looking a little worse for wear, before a gigantic anaconda snatches him and goes absolutely apeshit. So everyone appropriately freaks the fuck out. They make it to the other side of the marsh and are pretty distressed by what's just happened, but Johnny tries to reassure them by saying,
that was the biggest one I've ever seen by far. The odds of running into another one that size are astronomical.
Somehow I think those astronomical odds are going to increase significantly. I think he knows what he's talking about, Ken. Alright then, how about if they encounter another giant snake, you owe me a tenner. I'll raise you a tenner. Let's make it a 20. Okay, deal. Anyway, Corey is undeterred by this and says, right, on with the mission then. But everyone's thinking, sod the mission, man. Sex Pest is being digested and we just want to get the hell out of here. So that's what we're gonna do. Corey ain't having it though, and says he'll just throw more money at Johnny later to change his mind. Personally, I think throwing it at him's only gonna piss him off. I'd just hand him the money to be safe. So they continue through the jungle and after a while they stop for a rest, with Morris Cashewnut rubbing his horribly blistered foot. But just as he's about to put his boot back on, Terry stops him and says, you're wearing boots with no socks. No wonder you've got so many blisters, you dumbass. Oh, and there's a paralysis spider in one of them too. Corey scoops up the spider and says, I think I'll save this for later when I become the baddie. After some more walking, they finally get to the river, only to find that Pisshead Pete's boat is fucked. Well, if they weren't feeling hopeless before, they sure as shit are now. But Terry finds some traces of a local tribe and thinks their village must be nearby. So, with no other option, they head in that direction. And it's back to trekking through the jungle until they get jump scared by Pisshead Pete's really muddy corpse.
Is that
a dead man? Yes. What gave it away? Probably his face going BAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAAA it saying,
Hello? Is anyone there?
yeah. Are you okay?
Oh, yes, I'm fine. I just lost my keys in here somewhere.
Oh, okay, well, can we borrow some materials to make a boat with, please?
Yeah, sure, just... Ah, there's me keys. Oh, no, it's not. It's just a rib. Oh, where the devil are they?
Corey then finds a carving on the tribe's well which depicts a snake and the power flower, which he reckons is why the snakes have grown so big. This makes him even more eager to find it, because that 5-foot boner ain't gonna grow itself. Anyway, the others fully can't be asked to find the flower anymore, so Corey goes full wanker and shouts,
I don't need to consult you!
I'm the one with authority here.
and also the one with the maniac serial killer glare, now sit your ass down before I fucking bray. So, while they finish building the boat, Morris Macadamia Nut finds an emergency box in Corey's bag which contains gun. But then Corey turns up and is like, I'm the baddie now, and gets his spider to bite poor Morris. He quickly becomes paralysed while Corey takes the gun and leaves. Then Spam finds Morris who says, Spider-Man. What? You're a superhero? No. Venom. Oh, you're an anti-hero. No. So she runs off to tell the others Morris's big secret. But when they return, they find a big old ceiling snack snacking down on him. Sorry, what? Pay up. Oh, right you are, Ken. You were correct, so here's your 20. This is a piece of cardboard with the number 20 written on it. Well, you never specified a currency, so that's what you get. So they set the hut on fire, but then find that Coronation Street has nicked the bloody raft. Oh, Corrie, you ITV bastard! So they decide once again to cut through the jungle in hopes they can reach the other side of the river before Corrie gets there, so they can take the raft back and kick him in the knees. So they leave the burning village and the last surviving tribe member says, "Guys, why do I smell burning? Oh, there's me keys. Oh no, it's just another rib. Hang on a minute. I don't even own any keys. Oh, what a fool I am." Back to the group, and they get chased by a slithery scoundrel and end up falling into a cave. While navigating it, Toucan Badman gets turned around and doesn't know which path the others have taken. Thankfully, Terry finds him and they start to make their way back to the others. But Terry ends up falling into an underwater cave and he can't get out. If I was Toucan Badman, I would have stuck a leg down that hole so he could see where to come up. But woulda, coulda, shoulda, and sadly, Terry gets snatched by a big snack and meets his doom. They eventually find a way out of the cave, and just in time too, as a big snack sticks its head out going, "Finally! I found a way out of this damn cave! I'm free!" Good lord, could she possibly be any more attractive? I think not. Toucan Badman is a bit over-enthused by this and starts gobbing like a prat. Then another snack grabs him from behind. But Johnny's had just about enough of this snack shit, and he kills the beastie with an absolutely badass knife throw. You saved me. Thank you. No worries, lol fella. Now what have you learned? Don't be so gobby. Spot on. Elsewhere, Corrie finds the power flower and gets an absolute stonk on just looking at it. But the others have found him too and think, there's the git. Now where's his fucking boat? But when they leave, Corrie hears a twig snap. And for some reason he suspects it's them. Dude, it's the bloody jungle. Why would you think it's them? Does he investigate every twig snap? Anyway, he gets lucky this time and finds them about to steal his boat. So he shoots Johnny in the arm. Because incapacitating the strongest opponent is the wise choice. No, it really is. I wasn't joking. Why do you always think I'm joking? So Corrie makes Spam go across this unstable-looking log to stuff a backpack with as many power flowers as she can. But on the way back, the log starts to break. And she thinks, this is awful. I'm on a precarious log and there's loads of snakes shagging below me. I want to go home. But Corrie is like, just throw me the bag or I'll shoot your mates because I'm proper evil now. But as he catches it, Johnny gives him a wallop and the bag nearly falls into the snake pit, releasing the paralysis spider from its container. Corrie goes down to pick up the backpack, but he gets bitten by the spider. Meanwhile, Johnny tries to help Sam, but she falls into the snake pit. Corrie then delivers the best line in the movie, spider! Before falling into the pit himself. Thankfully, the snakes only go for Corrie, because Spam has plot armour, and she manages to climb out. But she's followed by Big Mammy Snack, who foolishly decides to snack on a gas can. So Toucan Badman picks up a flare gun and shoots the snack in the mouth, making it fall into the pit, and then they all explode? What the hell? Oh, fuck it, who cares? So the pit begins to collapse and buries all the snacks, apart from this one, who's like, don't worry, I'm alright, oh no! So the day is saved and Toucan Badman once again says,
what can I say? I'm a bad man.
Well, you did just put the giant anaconda on the endangered species list, so yeah, you are. Then they all travel down the river on the raft and live happily ever after. End of movie. Well, I think this is a really enjoyable movie. Sure, it's cheesy as all hell, the acting isn't the best, and some of the visual effects are really showing their age now, but it's still a ton of fun. And for a movie like this, that's what really counts. Turns out the movie didn't explain why there were giant anacondas in Borneo. Ah, damn it! Hang on, why didn't they just set it in South America? Anaconda 3, Offspring, is a 2008 creature feature directed by Don E. Fauntleroy. A billionaire with a terminal illness hires a band of mercenaries to capture his escaped genetically enhanced anaconda, which holds the key to curing his disease. So the movie begins with some mercenaries wandering through the woods looking for something to shoot. And who do we have here? It's Hofflehass McDavid-ass! One of the mercenaries asks him, hey David, what's your favourite hardware store?
Relax!
Then out of nowhere, a mega snake shows up and says, alright fellas, I just ate a pig. And it spits all over this guy, who must be embarrassed for the snake because he goes red in the face. They all try and shoot the snake, but the cameraman is partially blind and has Parkinson's, so I can't tell what the hell is going on. Someone loses an arm, and I think Redface runs into a tree and knocks himself out. Then when he wakes up, David talks to him like he's just banged out a quick wank.
Glad you came, right?
No, David, I've got the post-wank guilt, David, but thanks for asking, David. Then we see that the mega snake has been tranquilised. Mission accomplished. But I do wonder, where the hell did they find a real snake that big? Then we cut to a fake-as-shit CGI snake, and we see Clarice Starling jogging through the woods. Except this isn't Silence of the Lambs, it's Anaconda 3! So she's Clarice Bluetit instead. We're also introduced to Gangster Gimli, who is chilling in the back of a car on his way to the science lab he owns. And when he arrives, the lab manager is stood outside talking to ghosts again. But this isn't out of the ordinary, so he just shakes his hand and says,
"Handshake says a lot about a man."
You like to eat cereal with apple juice instead of milk, which is weird as fuck. Hey, Wexel Pharmaceuticals! Isn't that the name of the company in Lake Placid versus Anaconda? Aye, it is like... But hang on, does that mean Bad Lady is Gangster Gimli's daughter? You know, I believe she is, yes. Ha! It all makes sense now. Probably would have made more sense to watch these movies before the Lake Placid series. Yep, I should have. In fact, let me know in the comments below whether you'd like to see me update the old Lake Placid compilation too. Anyway, he wants to know how the snake experiment is going, so Applejuice shows him to the live feed of the snake enclosure, and Gimli says,
"Completely motionless, just like my first wife."
Well, I guess that's what you get if you marry an iron ingot. Then this guy rocks up whose name is Steven Scientist, which is quite the coincidence because he is a scientist. Anyway, he says things are going well.
Good, because I'm paying you for results.
Then you'll be happy to know, sir, that we have concluded that snakes do in fact have eyes. So they've injected a male anaconda with a serum made from the blood orchid from the last movie, and hope that when it mates with their female anaconda, their offspring will hold the key to vastly extending human life. To be honest, I'm glad they've stuck with this idea because I like how stupid it is. Anyway, Gimli asks Steven Scientist,
"What is it that snakes have that we don't have?"
Scales, cold blood, venom, a Disney Plus subscription? God, don't be daft, Ken. Snakes prefer Netflix. So Gimli has a look in the enclosure but gets jump scared by the snake, and reacts the same way I did after my neighbour's cat snuck in through my bedroom window in the middle of the night. Then Bluetit walks in to make sure the snake hasn't broken out and started killing folk yet, and Steven's like, "Who the hell are you? And how'd you get in here? And also, why is Gangster Gimli 8 foot tall all of a sudden?" Anyway, Bluetit contradicts what Steven said, and tells Gimli that things are moving a lot slower than they had him believe, which Gimmer ain't too happy about. Applejuice then admits that things are taking more time than expected, and Gimli says,
"Time is what I do not have."
"Because I dropped my watch in the toilet this morning." As Steven is escorting Bluetit from the premises, she tells him that she reckons Gangster Gimli has cancer, which is why he wants the life serum so badly. So Steven says, "Oh, it all makes sense now. Well, thanks whoever you are now, please leave before I call security." So she does. Then for some bizarre reason, Gimmers decides to shine a torch into the snake enclosure. Applejuice is like, "Probably shouldn't do that, like." And Gimli says, "Nah, it's fine, man. I'm just shining it directly in its eyes. What's it gonna do? Break out and kill everybody?" Seconds later, and it does, by sticking its unusually spiky tail right through this unlucky bugger. They try to subdue the snake with some knockout gas, and it eventually stops banging about, so it seems as though the gas has taken effect, with Steven saying,
"That stuff will knock out 10 rhinos."
"But that snake has the tolerance of 11 rhinos! Oh, shit! And also, why are you here again? Who keeps letting you in?" Elsewhere, this security guard hears a noise coming from an air vent, and goes to check it out. I wouldn't go near that if I were you, mate.
A drill.
I wouldn't open that if I were you, mate. I wouldn't stick me head in there if I were you, mate. I warned you. 3 times I warned you! Bluetit and Steven go back into the enclosure room to find that the male anaconda has escaped into the rest of the facility, and has likely gone looking for the female, which they call the queen. Also, it's made a right mess of everyone on the way out. Am I the only one who loves the fact that the creators of this film probably thought, "Alright folks, we only have a fraction of the budget of the last movie, how are we going to compensate for that? Make it gory as fuck? Aye, you heard the man. Make it gory as fuck." So they find the queen snake's enclosure has been broken into, and they think they've both escaped the building, but the male was just hiding in the corner, because it wanted to say bye to Steven and give him a proper big hug, because he was always pretty nice to him, you see. But it gets carried away and bites his head off. I don't blame it though. Snake's gonna snack her. Outside, and Gangster Gimli is rather miffed that the snake experiment went to pot, so he tells Applejuice that he wants his mercenaries to track down the snakes immediately. What do you mean, immediately? They're not just gonna show up out of the blue and... oh, they have done. How fortunate. Then Gimmers gets in his car and says,
"Until I hear good news, you'll
What? What was that? I said...
Till I hear good news, you'll
What? Then we cut to some 1970s stock footage of an Eastern European town, which seems completely random, but I'll go with it. And then we see David in a pub selling some dragon claws to these gullible idiots. But on his way out, these two big fellas hold him up and say, "Wait a minute, dragons aren't real." And David says, "Oh, leave me alone, will you? I don't need the hassle." Howf! But then he gets a phone call from Applejuice, who is all like, "David, Big Snake's gone mental. Gotta get it back." And David says,
For you.
"You can't beat me, you dirty rascal. I'm the king of the castle." Howf! Back to Applejuice, who gets the mercenaries up to speed and says, "Right, off you go then, you bizarre-looking bunch of bastards. I've seen more menacing-looking mercenaries in a bowl of soup. I mean, look at them. Who've we got? We've got Dog Tag You're It, Flannel, Red Dead Constipation, Robert Downey Syndrome Jr., Smoked Haddock, and Bird's Nest Bonce. But collectively, I'm going to call them Team Gimp." So off they go to find the snakes, and the green screen behind them is so obvious they may as well have just left it green. Then Flannel tells Blue Tit the singular character trait the writers have given him.
24 knockouts, regional city champ.
"But we're fighting a giant snake. Hand-to-hand combat is not going to work, you Burke." In the other car, Bonce makes fun of Robert because he's afraid of snakes, which is a rather undesirable trait for this mission, if I'm honest.
I'm not afraid of snakes.
I just shit my pants and start uncontrollably screaming when I see one, that's all. Then we see a local farmer who hears something unusual in his barn, so he goes in to investigate. But he ate one pie too many last night, and the ladder breaks, knocking him out and leaving him with a very sore chin. Sometime later, the farmer wakes up to find a snake snacking on him, and it says,
"I eat your legs. I have no legs, so I eat your legs."
The snake tracker then leads Team Gimp to the farm and they have a look around. But Robert gets startled by a chicken and starts shooting wildly at everything but the chicken, because he's as much of a liability as an inebriated free climber. Then a chewed up goat falls from the rafters and gives everyone a good jolt. But Red Dead says,
"I did it."
"Well, no one's stopping you, lad. Go and kneel down and have a loud chew. We'll wait for you." Outside, Bonce finds a snake skin, and unfortunately the tracking device has been shed with it. But then Dog Tag You're It gets impaled by a spiky tail. The others chase the snake, shooting at it as unprofessionally as they can, before Robert gets his head bitten off, which against all odds actually improves his accuracy, as he manages to shoot one of the cars in the gas tank so it explodes. Even in death he was a liability. Blue Tit tries to save Dog Tag's life with Applejuice's help, and though it's obvious that he's beyond saving, Blue Tit won't give up. "I admire your determination, lass, but unless you've got a spare torso and a hospital in that bag, then I think you better call it." Meanwhile, Flannel has clearly been attending the Freddy school of reptile hunting.
Here, kitty, 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 kitty.
But at least he's looking for it. The others just seem to be wandering around aimlessly going, "Bah, why are we in the forest again? Oh, look, a mushroom, I'm gonna eat it." Back to Blue Tit and their sneaky snacker snuck up behind her. Applejuice then provides some invaluable advice.
"Don't move."
"Nah, man, I thought I'd just dance a fucking jig in front of it. Of course I'm not gonna move!" But all of a sudden we get a drive-by half, and the snake hits the low way, as opposed to the highway, because snakes are low to the ground there. Anyway, David is in charge now, because of course he is, and he says,
"You follow my lead, I'll take you right up the snake's ass, alright?"
To be honest, I'd prefer not to go up the snake's ass if I can help it, David. Red Dead then whips out the stupidest looking tracking device the world has ever seen, and they set off after the beasties. Smoked Haddock and Bonce spot the snake and let David know.
We're on to him now.
It's the end of the line for these bastards.
Bastards!
Anyway, Blue Tit, Bonce and Haddock are chasing the snake in the car, but everyone loses sight of it because the 100-foot-long Anaconda is somehow able to escape their line of sight. Then it appears from the side and spits blood or something in Haddock's face. So they speed off in the car, and because he's been blinded, Bonce crashes the car. Bonce gets thrown from the car and keeps repeating,
"I think my leg is broken."
"You think it's broken? Which bit do you think is broken? The bit with the massive bone sticking out, perhaps? Nah, it looks fine to me. Stop whinging and get on with it. Also, who's this fella walking around in the background? I don't think you were supposed to be there, you fucking sneaky fucker!" Anyway, Bonce gets eaten by the snake, which then has a good long look at Blue Tit, like an opposite of cross-eyed pug. Oh, and Smoke Haddock has died, apparently. Not due from the car crash, either. I think all those years of smoking Haddock finally caught up with him. And the car is about to blow up, because if GTA has taught us anything, it's that if a car isn't on its wheels, it will inevitably explode. So Blue Tit legs it, but trips on a tree root and ends up all mucky. She gets cornered by the 100% real Anaconda, but it can't see her because the filmmakers watched Predator recently. She is eventually saved by David, and says, "Thank you for saving me, but what the hell is that hanging off your shirt?" "Oh, it's just a tassel." Howf! They head back to the farm and Blue Tit washes off all the muck, because no one likes a mucky tit. Then she walks outside and sees the fellas doing something odd. and says,
"What's going on?"
"Oh, we were just having a who's got the stretchiest dick contest." "Oh yeah? Who won?" "David, obviously, by a fucking yard." Then Blue Tit explains to everyone that the female Anaconda is pregnant, so if they don't stop him soon, the whole place will be overrun with mega snakes. So they track it to an abandoned building, and David tells Applejuice to hang back and guard the door. Once they're inside, they think the snake is right round the corner, so they throw in a flashbang grenade and unload everything they've got directly into a brick wall. "Yeah, take that, you wall bastard." Back at the entrance, and suddenly Applejuice gets impaled from behind and dragged outside. But then he's inside again and propped up in the doorway? What? Anyway, he dies and no one cares. Moving on. The snakes escape into a nearby lake and it looks like they're heading to the other side. Blue Tit says they've probably found a food source over there, so that's where the female will make a nest. So David and Red Dead track the snakes on foot while Blue Tit drives Flannel around as he talks to a button on his shirt. But the latter end up spotting one of the snakes going into another big abandoned building. So they go in alone, and after 6 minutes of slowly walking around this building... I'm not even joking, man! Over 6 bloody minutes of them cautiously walking around! I believe that's called padding out the runtime. Oh, I'm not complaining, Ken. It's truly riveting stuff. Flannel gets snatched by Big Daddy Snake, which starts crushing him, but before it can perform its signature head chomp finisher, Flannel decides to go out like a badass and pulls a pin on a grenade before it eats him. It's a shame we don't get to see the snake explode, but meh. David and Red Dead see the smoke from the explosion and follow it. They meet up with Blue Tit, and then out of nowhere, David shoots Red Dead dead! Because Gangster Gimli offered him $10 million if he brings back one of the baby snakes. Blue Tit thinks this is bang out of order, so she kicks him in the pant python and unleashes a barrage of blows with the ferocity of a feisty ferret. Unfortunately, David easily overpowers her because he's literally twice her size. So she pops in a cheat code to spawn a knife and stabs him in the belly. We then see the Queen Anaconda has given birth to a load of baby snakes. So Blue Tit sets the timer on the bomb and says,
"Happy trails, slimy bitch!"
Even though she knows snakes aren't slimy. But before she leaves, she turns to David and says, "You thought you were the king, but you were just a vassal. Howf!" Then she runs out of the building and David is swarmed by the baby snakes, then kaboom! The building goes kablamo. Sometime later, that fella who got spat on at the beginning of the movie turns up to the destroyed building and finds one of the baby snakes alive. But why they insisted on using another terrible CGI snake is beyond me. So the story clearly isn't over yet, and Blue Tit sits by the roadside destroying all of her research notes. Since when the hell did she have those with her? Makes no sense, but I don't care, because this final shot is rather lovely. Okay, it's maybe going on for a little too long now. Oh, okay, you can end now. Movie, please end. Oh my god, will you just fucking end? Oh, thank you. End of movie. Well, you know what? Maybe it's the level of alcohol in my bloodstream or the fact that Lake Placid Legacy has set a new bar for terrible sequels. But I actually enjoyed watching this movie. I think significantly up in the level of blood and gore worked in its favour. And it definitely had some of the same ludicrousness I enjoyed so much about Lake Placid vs. Anaconda. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not a good movie by most standards, but it certainly kept me entertained all the way through, so I'll be looking forward to watching the next one. Anacondas, Trail of Blood is a 2009 creature feature directed by Don E. Fauntleroy. Following on from the end of the last movie, the miracle cure serum has now been perfected, but the snake it was tested on escapes and goes on the rampage. And to make matters worse, it can now regenerate. So the movie begins with Dr. Goof experimenting with the baby snake he found at the end of the last movie. And I'm happy that they've decided not to use a terrible CGI snake this time around. This stop-motion snake is much better. That's the same snake!
No, it's not!
Yes, it is!
No, it's not, Ken!
He tests his latest blood orchid serum on it, which not only makes it way bigger than it should be, but also gives it the ability to fully regenerate.
Great. Wonderful. Shit.
At least he knows the serum works though, so he sets off to his secret orchid farm to stock up on more of his precious petals. But on the way I'm pretty sure he says black orchid instead of blood orchid.
The latest genetic modifications to the black orchid strain.
Oh, Goof, you silly bugger, you done goofed! Unless I've totally misunderstood something. Oh, when's that ever happened, eh? Dog soldiers, she was always a werewolf. Fair enough. Although, I still think he goofed, so he goofed. Meanwhile, the big old mega snake easily breaks out of its enclosure because it was kept in a considerably shitter cage than the one in the last movie. So the stealthy snake sneaks up on Dr. Goof, but when it attacks, it looks less like he's about to be eaten and more like he's just tasted ice cream for the first time. Then we cut to Gangster Gimli's house, where someone rocks up in a car and holy shit! Hide your daughters, folks, because we've got a certified badass on our hands.
'Cause I'm a badass!
Right this way, sir.
Which way? I can't see shit with these shades on. He gets shown the way to Gimmer's office, trying his best not to bang every wall or lady in the vicinity. Then Gimli says,
There's a briefcase over there. Have a look inside.
What is that? What the fuck is that?
It's yours, if you'll do a little job for me.
So Gimmers tells the badass that he's lost contact with Dr. Goof, and assumes that he's found another employer who is willing to pay him more for the serum. Why he assumes this, though, is anyone's guess, but he asks the badass to track down Dr. Goof, kill him, and steal the serum, which he desperately needs because...
I have bone cancer.
Or as the medical professionals call it, bone cancer. Gimli also says if you come across Blue Tit, then kill her too, cause why not, eh? Then we're introduced to this backpacker, who really has picked the worst place to go for a walk. He just doesn't know it yet. Anyway, I'm going to call him Randy, because it's the first name that popped into my head for some reason. And he's not long into his walk when he finds some furry gore on the ground and thinks, oh man, that miscellaneous mammal must have really pissed someone off because they sledgehammered the fuck out of it. But he thinks nothing of it and continues until he bumps into our friendly neighbourhood Blue Tit. And she's got some friends with her, who may as well be wearing jackets saying snake fodder. So she tells Randy that the forest isn't safe and insists that he sticks with them, which he does because he thinks she's pretty hot. Then they spot something, with Randy saying,
What the hell is that?
Ba, dead sheep, have you any wounds? Yes, sir, I like prunes.
But Blue Tit notices the forest has gone quiet, and says that means there's a predator nearby. Then we see some new characters, who are a bunch of archaeologists or something, driving to wherever and, hey, it's Lyndon Ashby! Now most of you are probably thinking, who the hell is Lyndon Ashby? Only Johnny Cage from the Mortal Kombat movie. Man, that film had such a banging theme tune.
I am a slave to the rhythm. I want to take my clothes off.
Yeah, Lyndon!
I want to touch your body.
Yeah, wait, hang on, what? Unfortunately for the gang, they come across a downed tree blocking the road, and this fella, who I'm going to call Angry Alfred, says,
Any way around it?
Nah, just smash through the fucker at full speed, you'll be fine. But Lyndon says he's going to run ahead and find the first archaeology team, while the others unload their shit. Then Redhead thinks she sees something up in the trees, but it ain't going to be a bloody anaconda, is it? I mean, those trees are thinner than an underfed stick insect. Elsewhere, Blue Tit and her mates find Dr. Goof's orchid farm, so her and Randy go inside while Fodder 1 and 2 guard the entrance. Then she starts laying C4 along the floor in the orchid room. But bloody hell, man, how much C4 do you need? You're only blowing up one room, not the whole bloody forest. Then they hear one of the Fodder fellas screaming outside and, whoa! That snake sure made a mess of him fast. While Fodder 2 just stands there saying, I told you not to take the piss out of the snake's mum, didn't I? You didn't listen, did you? You never listened to me. I reckon he called her a slapper, and the snake just went ballistic. And not of the X versus Sever variety. Blue Tit and Randy go deeper into the mine, and she says keep going, I'm right behind you. But somehow Captain Oblivious doesn't notice her turning back and going the other way. So she sees the snake has followed them into the mine, and she opens fire on it, which makes Randy turn around in a rather unflattering shot like, what? She's not there? Oh, and I was telling her all about my pencil collection. Now she'll never know how cool I am. Unfortunately for Blue Tit, her handgun assault goes about as well as a brick in a bacon sarnie, and it looks as though the snake is going to get her. But as it lunges towards her, the wibbly wazzock accidentally breaks one of the support beams and brings the tunnel down on itself.
You dumb shit.
Blue Tit meets back up with Randy, but as they're leaving... Why didn't they just have her knocked out by the tunnel collapse? Because that would have made sense. So Randy runs off to find help, but he stops for another unflattering low-angle shot and notices that the forest has gone quiet, which, remember, means there's a predator nearby. And wouldn't you know it, Slithery Mr. Regenerates has now regenerated. Ooh, he's a right shit, this one. Meanwhile, Lyndon turns up to the archaeology camp to find that the first team is nowhere to be found.
Is there anybody here?
I am in the tent, Lyndon, but I'll warn you, I'm a bit dead. So Lyndon runs off in shock as he would. The rest of the gang are on their way through the woods until Nutbag says...
Wait.
What?
I've got movement.
Dude, it's a forest. Might have just been a deer with a prosthetic leg just hobbling. And then he pulls out a fucking gun because he's a nitro spaz and almost shoots Lyndon. Angry Alfred takes the gun off him as he should, lest he do something even more stupid later on. Which he totally will, by the way. So Lyndon tells them that Team 1 are all dead and they're like, get out of here. So they go and have a look, but when they get there, all the bodies have gone. Angry Alfred's like, I think someone was telling fibs and porcupines. I didn't make it up. Shrooms or no shrooms, I know what I saw. Then the mercs show up in the forest led by the badass. 'Cause I'm a badass! Well, at least these mercs look less ridiculous than Team Gimp from the last movie, though I'm sure they'll end up just as useless. Back to Randy, and he finds Dr. Goof's house and goes to see if there's anybody home. And will you stop it with the low-angle shots of this guy's face? I can almost see up to his brain, for God's sake. Elsewhere, we find out that Lyndon is in a relationship with this lass, who I'm going to call Barbara Oblong Bengletech, or Bob for short. While they're talking, she gets bitten by a spider, so they decide to go inside. The next day, and you can tell Bob isn't very well from her spider bite, because the poor girl can only say Wendy.
Wendy? Wendy? Wendy?
Meanwhile, the fellas have gone to find the excavation site, but when they arrive, they see all the dead bodies Lyndon found earlier. See? I bloody told you there was bodies, didn't I? And Nutbag says, "Are you lot okay down there?" "No, I've got a sore neck, and Gary's intestines are all over the place. And oh yeah, we're dead." Meanwhile, Blue Tit finally wakes up from her nap, and goes to have a look at the collapsed tunnel, and notices half of the dead snake is still there. So did the back half just detach and become its own snake?
Yes, I believe it did.
Well, if I knew snakes did that, I would have cut mine off ages ago. Back to Randy, and after spending the night in his car, he finds himself chased by the mega snake. It's about to get him, but then Blue Tit drives by, shooting at the snake, saying, "Why do you think that a swine?" Man, she really needs to work on her catchphrases. So the snake starts chasing Blue Tit while Randy hides in the house saying, "Hee, I'm in a tiny window." But unfortunately, our heroine drives over a molehill which somehow manages to flip the car.
There better not have been a mole in that hole.
She gets out, and then her and Randy run away from the snake while shooting at it. Lyndon and the fellas hear the gunshots and follow the noise out into a field to find... And look who else shows up. Then once again, Nutbag's brain goes from naught to madman as he grabs the gun off Alfred and runs headlong towards the snake, which goes about as well as you'd expect. Oh well, at least he died doing what he loved, screaming and shooting. So the snake continues its chase into the woods, and it singles out one of the badasses mercs, who wins the Bell End of the Year award by shooting into the air instead of at the snake. Back at the camp, and this random fella, who I assume was part of Team 1, turns up and says, "Oh, I'm not feeling too good. Lend us a hand, will you?" Before he collapses, and the ladies prove they've mastered the art of giving someone a headache.
He's injured. We need you here, guys. We're not trained for this. God, please, go ahead, please.
Shut up! Shut up!
Then the others show up, and Lyndon tries to help Mr. One Arm, with Randy saying,
"Is there something I can do to help?"
"Yeah, close your nostrils and stop breathing at me." Blue Tit is insistent that they all need to get out of there ASAP, but angry Alfred says,
"You know what we just saw out there? What is it? Some kind of an experiment or something?"
"Answer me! I've got an arse and I'm not afraid to use it!" Then out of nowhere... Then the badass questions everyone about the location of Dr. Goof and the serum, but they're not very cooperative. Oh, caps off. Now he means business. He points his gun at Randy's head and says, "Tell me what I want to know or I'll give this guy another hole to breathe out of." "Oh, please don't, for the love of God." But then he shoots Mr. One Arm. "Oh, why'd you have to shoot him? He was harmless." Redhead Wendy then tries to make a 2.5 mile an hour run for it, so the badass shoots her too. Blue Tit says she knows the location of the doctor's house, so two of the mercs take her and angry Alfred while the rest stay in the camp. Then when they're gone, Mr. One Arm says, "Is everyone gone?" "Oh, thank God." Ah, that's better. Oh, I've been holding that in since I got shot. And now I'm dead. They reach Dr. Goof's house and have a look around, with one of the mercs saying,
"Find anything?"
"Yeah, we found some red liquid, some blue liquid, some tubs, and a coffee cup. Which do you want?" "Back to the blue liquid." "Oh, I wanted the blue liquid." "Well, you snooze, you lose, Murky Mike." Back at the camp, Lyndon brings Bob something to eat and drink while she's a bit under the weather. But she's like, "Why did you bring me 2 apples and a bottle of apple juice? You know I don't like apples or apple-flavoured products." "Ah, well, you won't want the dessert I brought you then." At the doctor's house, angry Alfred finds a vial of the serum beneath the floorboards, and Blue Tit reckons Dr. Goof will have hidden some more somewhere. But where? Then Murky Melvin says, "Just popping out for a quick death, mate. Won't be long. For this life." Then we see that he's gone outside to take a piss. Why? He was in a house! Why didn't he just use the toilet in the house?
Yeah, he may have a phobia of household toilets for all you know.
Kent, that is not a real thing. And if it is, then it's stupid. Anyway, his idiocy makes him an easy target for our slithery scoundrel. Murky Mike sees his mate getting chomped, so he throws a grenade outside, which explodes the bedroom window, allowing Blue Tit and angry Alfred to escape, while Mike shoots at the ceiling like a prat. They hide in a nearby shed and somehow remain hidden until the morning, where Blue Tit shouts at angry Alfred because he was snoring all fucking night! And being a calm and reasonable person, Alfred reacts like this.
"Don't take it out on me, alright? I just lost 3 of my friends!"
My word, behaving like that in front of a lady? That man is a son of a bitch, mother spare tire back cabbage flavoured Feel better after getting that out? Oh, much better, thank you. Good. Now never do it again. This unnecessary outburst works in their favour, however, as a tin knocked over contains Dr. Goof's secret serum stash. How fortunate. So they get ready to leave and angry Alfred apologises for his aggressive outburst, and Blutit says, "Don't worry about it, but I really do hope you get eaten soon." So they're walking through the woods and once again run into Murky Mike. And then it's time for another headache-inducing round of pointless shouting.
Give him the bag. Stay out. Give him the bag.
Give him the bag.
Back off. Give him the bag.
We found it.
Give him the bag. Shut up!
Thankfully, Alfred gives Murky Mike a smack. Then they run off just as the snake appears. Mike shoots at the snake but quickly runs out of ammo, so he decides to sacrifice himself and take the snake with him. But what happens to him next is so funny, I almost drowned in my own piss. Blutit and angry Alfred are still running, but the snake is gaining on them fast. Alfred then notices that his shoelace has come undone, so he stops to sort it out while Blutit keeps going because she hates him anyway. So the snake rocks up and is like, "What are you doing? Why have you stopped?" "Oh, my shoelace has come undone." "Oh, you better sort that out, mate. You might trip over and hurt yourself." "Don't worry, I'll wait." "Cheers, mate. Won't be a minute." La-da-dee, la-da-da, and there we go. All sorted. Nice one. Why are you hovering above the ground, you anti-gravity bastard? Fortunately, this gives Blutit time to get back to the car, and she pulls out a fuel tank and covers it in the serum, because the snake likes the smell of it, eh? Then she throws it at the beastie, which picks it up in its mouth, so she whips out her gun and...
Smile, you son of a...
Boom! The snake's head goes kersplatto. Back at the camp, Gangster Gimli rocks up. Was naughty and told him that he had the serum when he didn't. Then we see that Snake Fodder number 2 is still alive. I wondered where that bugger went. Anyway, him and the badass have double-crossed Gimli despite not actually having the serum. Lyndon senses shit is about to go down, so he slyly pulls out a tiny knife. Fodder says,
"Shoot him."
"Shoot him in the villi." "Where?" "In the villi." "What?" "His penis. Shoot him in the penis." "No, not me, you fool!" Lyndon grabs the badass's gun and goes to rescue Bob and Randy, but they run into a henchman, who shoots Lyndon in the shoulder! Lyndon! But just when it looks like he's about to finish the job...
He's already dead!
As they're leaving, however, Gimli stops them and says, "Man, absolutely nothing over the last week has gone to plan, has it? Fancy doing an old man a favour and giving me the serum?" "Excuse me? First you get all my mates in the science lab killed, then Team Gimp, including me mate Flannel, then you pay David to kill me, then you send mercenaries after me and get Lyndon shot, all while being hunted by a giant mutant snake that you paid for, and you want me to just give you the serum?" "Yes." "Oh, okay then." So she gives it to him, and they leave. Then Gimli starts loading it up in a syringe. "No, man, don't do that. Just neck it." "No, not like that." Thankfully, Gimmers knows the serum works because it has the expected side effect of making the sky look hilarious. His good times are short-lived, however, because he turns around to find the mega snake staring back at him saying, "You silly old bugger, you spent how much money doing all this, and as soon as you get what you want, you get your head bitten off by a snake." "But my head hasn't been..." But guess who isn't dead yet? Who hops in a car and follows our heroes. On their way out of this place, Blutit detonates the C4 she left in Dr. Goof's farm at the beginning, which puts an end to all this orchid shenanigans. But when they stop to change cars at the downed tree, the badass jumps on the back of the car, and Lyndon's like, "Right, I've had just about enough of your villainous bastardry, I'm gonna give you a right good thrashing." So he climbs onto the back and has a rather precarious scuffle with him, and to make matters worse, they're being followed by the mega snack. So Blutit comes up with a brilliant plan. She tosses the last of the serum in the badass's face, then pulls the pin on the grenades on his belt. Then Lyndon says,
"This is where you fall down,"
before Blutit kicks him off the back of the car and into the jaws of the snake, which soon regrets giving in the chomp when the grenades go off and splatter the slithery bugger all over the road. Blutit says,
"Let's see you try and regenerate from that."
"Don't you worry, I will. Just give me like 5 years or so and I'll be back to get ye. Now, where's me liver at?"
So our heroes drive off to live their lives as snake-free as they possibly can. But then we see the slithery bastard has regenerated already. What a twat. End of movie. Well, much like the previous movie, I thoroughly enjoyed this one. There's just something about these low-budget sequels which gives them a particular charm. Maybe it's the gore, the cheesy dialogue, or perhaps it's just the sheer ridiculousness of it all. And yeah, I know they're nowhere near the quality of the first two Anaconda movies, but they still entertain me all the way through, so I can't really complain. And that's the end of the Anaconda series, because we already did Lake Placid vs. Anaconda, so, I wonder what we're going to do next. So, the Anaconda movies, what did you think of them? Let me know in the comments below while I try and figure out where this gas leak in my house is coming from. Ooh, I know, I'll use a match to help me find it.